You ready to go fishing?
You know I'm fishing hard, you ain't just wanna sit it down. Going Ike, every time I'm rolling up into my spot, I get so hyped up, I think I'm going Ike. I got one goal, and that's gold. If we ain't into fish, then we're hitting the road. I live the life of a fisherman that never gets old. So welcome to the show, come on yo, we're going Ike.
You know, picking one of the last Going Ikes of the season, had a couple choices locally what I could do. We've got a little bit of a striper bite happening right before Christmas. There are a few deep water quarries, but you know, I had this idea that stuck out in my mind, and it was doing a fishing show based around Christmas with my kids.
Mike Iaconelli, I'm a student. Estella Iaconelli.
Stella, how old are you?
5. Since I'm so big, I'm so happy, like fishing. Maybe I'm really happy, and I really want to be a fisherman.
Tell me why you like fishing.
Because I like to catch big fish.
And I mean, this was a really cool concept for me because it was kind of a perfect match. It was the holidays, Christmas, the spirit of giving, the snow, all that stuff that's so tied to your family, and also this thing which I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about passing on to people, which is fishing. So we came up with this idea to do a show with my kids right around Christmas, and as luck would have it, the forecast was calling for cold weather and snow. Now, you might think for fishing that would be a bad thing, but for me it was kind of the perfect storm. It was going to be a chance to showcase my kids and how much they loved it, but also it was going to be a chance to showcase the Christmas holiday and to tie snow into Christmas. It was perfect. So, you know, leading up to this, we knew it was going to be tough fishing, but the great thing about kids fishing is by keeping it simple, you can keep kids interested in fishing even when the fishing's not that good. You know, we decided that we were going to fish on a little lake here in South Jersey, and it was a lake that had multi-species. And, you know, for me, that's one of the rules for getting kids involved in fishing is pick a place that has a lot of different fish that bite. This particular lake we're going to fish had bass, it had pickerel, it has bluegill, yellow perch, crappie. It's got all these different species. And even when the fishing's tough, it provides the opportunity to get bites. It's one of the most important things you could do. You know, the other rule for me when I'm fishing with the kids is to make the types of fishing really simple. It's real easy as a parent, as a dad, as a hardcore bass angler to get uptight and want to throw those same complicated lures that you throw. But by keeping it simple, kids stay involved and they figure it out really quick. So we decided to stick to a couple real basic patterns. Grubs, finesse swim baits, really tiny little crappie jigs with a bobber above it, and little tiny jerk baits. Lures that are real easy to use, real easy to cast. You basically cast them out and reel them in, or you cast it out and you watch the bobber. It's another real key element to getting kids involved. You know, I decided first I was going to fish with my son, Vegas. And Vegas is only 6 years old, but he's a hardcore fish head. You know, it's interesting because he's been around it for a really long time. He's been around me fishing, he's been around me fishing professionally, but you could tell from an early age that Vegas really picked up on it. As he got a little older, you know, we started teaching him more and he started really falling in love with it. And he picked up on this thing called kayak fishing. And kayak fishing is great because it's a really uncomplicated way to get kids in a boat. And he got his first kayak when he was 5 years old, and he got it for Christmas. So I thought, what a great opportunity to go fishing with Vegas, but to take him out in his kayak. You know, it's really neat to watch Vegas not only fish out of a kayak, but launch it. And you gotta remember, kids are mimics. So he's got this little kind of toy little truck that he uses. He hooks it into the back of the truck. And it's crazy because he actually pulls it around, pulls it down to the lake, and he launches this thing all by himself. It's crazy. Kayaks and we start taking off for the main lake, and we're trying to get out a little bit toward deeper water, and we're going to start in an area of the lake where a flat kind of turns into a little bit deeper edge, and we start fishing. Vegas is throwing a swim bait, I'm throwing a little finesse swim bait, and immediately I hook up with a yellow perch, fight it, get it to the kayak, and it's a really nice 10 or 11-inch yellow perch. Great sign that this is going to be the kind of day where we can get some bites.
So,
I had a perch. Good one. It's a good first fishing today. That's a good sign.
oh, come on.
Oh, no, that's because you stopped, because you were watching me. Remember, you got to keep reeling.
Yep, just forgot that.
Pretty perch. Look at that thing. About 5 minutes later, I hook up again, and it's another yellow perch. Now I'm getting excited because I really feel like Vegas is going to have a chance to catch some fish. Wow, nice cast. Let it sink right there. Come over here, bud. There's a school over here.
You betcha.
One of the things Vegas knows is he knows to keep his rod up and constantly feel for something different. And I'm watching his rod, and as I watch, he's having some bites, but he's missing them.
Oh, feel one.
Feel a bite?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about when you're fishing and you see your bobber go down. What do you do? Tell me.
Reel. You keep it up and you reel.
We make a decision to go to the back of the lake because there's another flat that transitions to a little bit deeper water in the back. And as we get back there, it's a pretty long paddle back. I noticed that I can kind of see Vegas is starting to get cold. He's casting, but he's not getting bites. And I'm not getting bites either. Finally, I hook up with one, and it's a pretty good sized pickerel.
What arrow. I thought that was a log. Pick it up,
He's got a bluegill in his belly. Look at this. How cool. He's got a bluegill in his belly.
Here I come.
Look at this. Look at that. Look, you can turn it around. Look, Vegas, now you can see what they're eating. Let me get this out and I'll show you. Look at this. Look at the bluegill in his belly. Feel it. He's got a bluegill in his belly. Look at that. Isn't that cool? That's what they're eating. They're eating bluegills.
Babies?
Baby bluegills. Isn't that cool? Here,
Oh my god.
you can turn it.
Hold
Here,
on.
hold my hand. All right, you ready?
I just.
Here, you grab them.
No, wait, hold on. I just realized something. Can you? There is a big bugle, but it's this way. It's not this
I
way.
know. Here, let him go. Tell him right here in this hole. Tell him right there in that hole.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Good job.
Wow. That made a good.
Wasn't that unbelievable?
That made a good splash.
But after about 20 minutes, the bite's just not happening.
And that's all we need. We need next quarter so that we can respond to everyone.
Yeah? Stop working right now! Look outside. Is this spreadsheet weather? No, it's not. This is fishing weather. So stop clicking, get out there, and catch a bass. Stop what you're doing and start fishing Rapala ripstop.
You know, it's a cold day, there's a storm coming the next day, and things aren't working. I look over at Vegas, and he makes this comment. He's like, Dad, we gotta get over to the brush piles. We gotta get to the brush piles. I'm like, all right, probably, you know, it's getting cold, it's getting late, but we're gonna go in and we're gonna try those brush piles before we call it a day. You know, we pedal over to those brush piles and Vegas switches rods. And he goes to his second rod, which is basically a finesse spinning rod with a cork, a bobber, and a pretty long leader with just a real little jig head and a small grub, a real little Berkeley power grub. And we get over to that brush pile, and it was amazing to see that he knew right where to cast on that brush pile, right outside of where he saw the top of that stick up. And like immediately after we get there, I watch and I see his cork go down. Oh, get ready. Stop it. No, stop it.
I'm not feeling it.
He sets the hook and he fights his fish, and you could see his whole demeanor change from, you know, being kind of cold and bored and tired of not getting bites to all of a sudden fighting this fish. And it's awesome for me as a dad to sit back and watch that happen. Man, I tell you, it's one of the most rewarding things to see him, you know, watch that float go down and set the hook and then fight this fish.
Oh,
All right, reel it in.
Got it! Yeah! Oh, the giant! That's it! Rod up. Oh my God, rod up. Giant, dude. Keep it up. Go around the front. And get. Keep going. Oh my God! Take your time.
get back,
Take your time.
Ando, get
Come to me.
back!
It's a big booger. Hold on. Take your time.
Ugh.
Take your time.
God, show me.
Come on, pull it.
Are you?
Keep in the boat now. No, keep in the boat. No, hold on, bring it over here.
Oh gosh.
Oh, look at that, bro! Yeah!
You?
Never give up. You said it earlier, didn't you?
Yep.
Dude, you were right. The whole time we wasted back there, we should have came to the brush piles.
That's why it was
And look at how big this thing is. Dude. Your hands are cold, your feet are cold, and look at this. Dude, all by yourself, bro. Did you see the way you ate it too? Hold that thing, squeeze them good. There you go. Look over there. Show those guys. Look at that thing. Dude, beautiful northern chain pickerel. Look at his teeth. Perfect. All right, now remember, part of fishing, catch and release. We're gonna let this thing go. All right, give him a kiss, give him a name.
Oh, come on!
That's all right, that's all right.
My hands are like, I had it and like, oh, it's sitting finally. I can say like this and then finally he dropped.
What do you do when you get it to the boat?
Lip it with your hand.
Cool.
But if it's a pickle, you hold it.
Pinch his body.
All right, let's see. Catch one or two more, and then we'll head back.
But
All right.
And I gotta tell you, he got it to the boat and helped him land that pickerel, and you just saw his face light up. And man, that's exciting. And it's part of the reason I can remember when I was young. I can remember being a kid, being his age, being 5 and 6. And I remember my grandfather and my uncle taking me fishing when I was that old. And I remember those same things happened. And you know, here it is, 40 years later. And this is why I love the sport. So, you know, I can tell you as a dad, sitting back and watching that, it's super, super rewarding.
and then when we went to the next bush pile, we cast, we waited, and then we reeled it in, bobbled it. It went down, and then it was hard. I was like stopping and reeling, and then when we keep going like and keep going over on the other side, we finally got it, and it was a big crappie like this side. Oh, you just hear this?
There you go. Big crappie looks like. Oh my God! Whoa! Swing him! Swing him! Yeah! Swing him! Swing him! Get him in! No, he's behind the boat! Get him in! Yeah! You got him! You got him!
Get out of it!
All right, let's go ahead. Oh yeah! Bro! Lift that fish. Lip him. Yeah! Lift that fish.
Vegas loves catching crappie. It's one of his favorite species to catch. And they fight awesome. They fight even harder than bass sometimes.
Never give up?
Yeah, remember you said that?
Mm-hmm. You never ever give up on fishing?
And once again, just lights up. And this time he lips it. He knows he can hold a crappie. And it's funny because here he is holding this thing up, and I'm watching him hold it up. And I'm like looking at myself. I'm like watching me hold up a fish at a tournament, or hold up a bass when I was in my 20s, or hold up a fish when I was his age. And it's kind of neat because I'm looking at him and I'm like looking at a little Bassmaster, a tiny Bassmaster. I even call him Bassmaster Vegas.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.
You know, finally, we're just about to quit, and we make a decision to hit that last brush pile. Vegas has the same motto that I have, which is never give up. And I hear him say it all the time.
Never give up?
So he wants to fish this last brush pile before we go in.
I fished another one, and I caught the biggest crappie ever.
Oh, real! Oh, God! my God, it's a giant! That's it. Freaking. Oh my God! I'm not kidding you. Take your time, take your time.
Oh God!
Oh my God! Take your time. Vegas, this is the biggest. Take your time. No, don't pull. No.
Shut up!
Get him in.
Shut up!
Grab him, grab him. Grab him! Lift him, lift him.
I can't get the hold.
Get him.
Come on!
No. Ah! Oh my God! Ah! Oh my God! You did it! Grab him by the lip! Grab him by the lip! Oh my gosh! Oh my God!
Okay.
Whoa!
You gotta do that underwater thing again? Oh, okay.
Wow!
This is what they look like. I catch these kind of fish like 3 times already, right, Dad?
Yeah, you do. You catch some good ones.
It was giant, dude. What did you feel like when you caught that?
I feel good.
It was awesome. Dude, your face is smiling, you're laughing. You didn't feel cold anymore. How'd that happen like that?
Because I got excited because I caught 3 of them. So I mean, never in my life, no kid can fish and catch these kind of big fish.
And this final fish is a giant. It's a big 1.5 pound, 1.75 pound white crappie. And man, it's a real giant. And it's so cool because on this one, I decide that I'm gonna fade out of the picture. I'm gonna pedal away and I'm gonna let him just hold this up to the camera guys and kind of let him have his moment. And I'm probably like 20 yards away just watching it, watching his face light up. And it really brings me back to what this sport's all about. It's about the hunt, it's about the chase, it's about the fight and landing that fish. And as I'm watching him hold it up to the camera guys, and I know this is kind of going to be the last fish of the day, it's really, I kind of find myself getting emotional because this is the best gift that you can give.
Did it. You did it.
Thanks.
You did it.
I know.
Did you think it was going to happen or were you worried it wasn't going to happen?
No.
I was worried it wasn't going to happen.
No, I worried over there I was gonna catch none. I was like, what's my hand?
You were worrying back there because you're like, Dad, let's get out of here. Let's go to the brush piles. And what happened?
And then we got some.
And then we got some.
Yeah, I was like, when I looked this way, I was worried. When I was looking this way,
You weren't worried.
Happy.
You were happy. Dude, you did good. You jacked them. Congratulations. Very proud of you. Give me a kiss.
Mwah.
Love you. Good job, Vegas. Yeah. Back to the house?
Come on, let's go.
Come on, let's go.
When I get older, I'm gonna fish for a living.
And are you going to teach other kids how to fish? At the Christmas time, at the holidays, it's an amazing gift to give. But all year, in your life, throughout your life, the best gift that you can give is passing your love and your passion for fishing on to your children or on to the next generation of kids. Man, that's what it's all about. You know, for me as a dad, for me as an adult, for me as someone who loves the sport, to be able to pass that on to my kids, to Vegas, to Estella, to Drew, to Riley, there's no better thing in the world. And to be able to do that at Christmas time, man, it's the ultimate. That's what it's all about. It's funny, you know, it's Christmas time, and the one thing I always wondered is, you know, does Santa Claus fish? You know, I know Santa Claus brings presents, and, you know, Santa Claus looks at the naughty and nice list, but man, I always wondered, do you think Santa Claus is a fisherman?
Merry Christmas! This pickerel's for Vegas. This fish is for Drew. She's been a good girl. This perch is for Estella. She's on the nice list. This bass is for Becky. Becky's got a big old bass. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Ho ho! Ho ho! Merry Christmas! To the trees! This one! This one! You gotta make a hole in it! This one! This one, it's a little! I found one! Here we go. Got it! Reeled it!
I see this dog! I know it's gonna follow me! Merry Christmas, fish on.
For information on the product and gear used in this show, go to MikeIaconelli.com and follow me on my social feeds at Mike Iaconelli. And if you want to help grow the sport of fishing, get kids involved. Go to theikefoundation.org to figure out information on how you can help get involved in getting kids fishing.